Today we tell the story of commitment and diligence, key traits of one of the award recipients to be recognized at the 2021 National Honors and Awards Ceremony. You have to stay tuned to find out who. Plus, elements of our heritage. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams, and I'll be taking you through the pages. First up, the news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 15, 2021. Jamaica has welcomed over 1.2 million visitors since the reopening of the country's borders in June 2020. This has brought estimated earnings of $1.7 billion. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett provided the latest tourism figures in Parliament on Wednesday. He said the figures up to September 2021 comprise over 1 million stopover visitors and approximately 8,000 cruise passengers. He noted that the forecast for 2021 is for 1.57 million visitors and more than $2 billion in earnings.
Our tourism industry, Madam Speaker, continues to show its resilience as it rebounds from the ravages of COVID-19 pandemic. The diligence, hard work, and unity shown by our tourism stakeholders over the last 18 months is paying off as we rebuild a safe, seamless, and secure destination, and Brand Jamaica reclaims its competitive position in the global market.
Mr. Bartlett added that the cruise industry should be fully back on track by December, with projections for approximately 300,000 cruise passengers by year-end. On August 16, the country hosted the return of cruise operations after a 16-month hiatus with the arrival of the Carnival Sunrise at the Ocho Rios cruise shipping port. By December, the Montego Bay and Falmouth ports should also be reactivated, and there are hopes of having calls in Port Royal and Port Antonio. Jamaica is among 4 Pan-American Health Organization PAHO member countries slated to benefit from 1.3 million doses of coronavirus vaccines. These sets of vaccines were donated by the United States, Canada, Germany, and Spain. Director of PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, said these will be used to boost vaccination coverage in Argentina, Guyana, Honduras, and Jamaica. PAHO is also supporting Jamaica along with Guatemala and Nicaragua in finalizing preparations to receive shipments being provided through the World Health Organization COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access COVAX facility and bilateral arrangements. The director indicated that these undertakings form part of PAHO's efforts to assist regional countries to meet the WHO's 40% global vaccination target for countries by year-end. Dr. Etienne informed that 29 countries and territories across the Americas have to date immunized 40% or more of their populations against COVID-19. Meanwhile, 39% of populations within Latin America and the Caribbean are fully vaccinated. Dr. Etienne indicated that countries like Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Haiti, Guatemala, and Nicaragua have yet to vaccinate 20% of their populations. The PAHO director made the statements during the organization's COVID-19 digital press briefing on Wednesday. Work is progressing apace on the Kingston and St. Andrew Adult Transitional Facility, which is expected to be operational by the year-end. Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, says the facility being constructed on King Street is 95% complete.
The second phase is really just to add additional accommodation and some additional features. But in terms of the first phase of it, and it to become operationalized, that will happen in before the end of the year.
The facility, being built at a cost of nearly $140 million, will offer temporary care to members of the homeless population in Kingston and St. Andrew. It is also intended to facilitate their reintegration into the society through treatment and other interventions. The Universal Service Fund, USF, will be setting up 3 community access point CAP sites in St. James. The sites chosen, Catadupa, Maroon Town, and Mount Carey, will provide residents, especially students, with access to Wi-Fi services to participate in online learning. This was disclosed by Member of Parliament for South St. James, Homer Davis, during his recent contribution to the State of the Constituency debate in the House of Representatives. He added that through the Constituency Development Fund, 12 laptops and 40 tablets were bought and presented to students at a cost of $4.5 million. Additionally, 49 tertiary students were provided with tuition grants at a cost of approximately $2.5 million. And book vouchers were provided for primary and high school students to the tune of $3 million. Book vouchers and other school supplies totaling $1.5 million will be presented to 74 students for their outstanding performance in the Primary Exit Profile (PEP) examinations.
Through the Ministry of Education Own Device Program, we received 192 applications from parents of students, of which 132 were approved, processed, and delivered. This at a cost of $2.6 million. In addition, through the Serve Jamaica Digital Device Program, under the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education, we submitted 100 names for support at a cost of $3 million, still awaiting that delivery.
And finally, Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has announced the lifting of travel restrictions on persons seeking to travel to Jamaica from the republics of India and Trinidad and Tobago. Senator Johnson-Smith says, as part of the measures under the Disaster Risk Management Act to curtail the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Jamaican government imposed restrictions on persons seeking to travel from certain countries. She says these protocols and restrictions were kept in accordance with the Health Ministry's data and risk factors. The restrictions on travel from the republics of India and Trinidad have been lifted, while other countries remain under review. Minister Johnson-Smith explained that formal notification has been sent to the relevant high commissions and that airlines have also been notified. The Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister reminded all travelers to the country, Jamaicans and non-Jamaicans, that they must receive authorization to enter Jamaica and follow the terms of the quarantine orders. The application for Jamaicans can be found at jamcovid19.moh.gov.jm/immigration. For non-Jamaicans, it's visitjamaica.com/travel authorization. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
For those of us who do not believe that COVID is real and that it is here, have you been to one of those hospitals where the wards are overflowing with patients who are trying to breathe and talk at the same time, but find it so impossible to do so? Or have you seen someone die in front of you, trying to make the next breath to stay alive? So my fellow Jamaicans and colleagues, whether you believe it or not, COVID is real. So I implore you, social distance. Wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Along with that, we need to keep our immune system nice and healthy, so you drink lots of water, eat your fruits and vegetables. But whether we believe it or not, COVID is here, it is here to stay, it's going to be the new norm. And remember, when you behave irresponsible, you expose all of us. So do the responsible thing.
Dr. Wayne Henry, Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, has been selected for the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander Class to be conferred on Heroes Day. He leads an illustrious career that spans finance and agriculture. Watch this next feature for more. Dedicated to his faith in God.
As I believe that my steps are ordered, that I'm typically move on purpose.
Very big on teamwork.
When we pull together, it doesn't become burdensome, and I think we can accomplish so much as we work together.
And steadfast in the development of Jamaica's sustainable development goals. Dr. Wayne Henry, a man with a vision.
I started the PIOJ in 2016, and at that time we began a number of activities And a lot of work would have gone in before, establishing Vision 2030 Jamaica, the country's long-term development plan, and having seen that implemented. But as the SDGs came on board, we did a number of things in 2016 and onwards. We established the National Oversight Committee for implementing the Sustainable Development Goals in Jamaica, what we call the NOC, which is chaired by the PIOJ. We hosted a mission from the UN to do what we call a MAPS mission, mainstreaming, accelerating, and program support for Jamaica to establish the SDGs in terms of implementation. And that mission showed and uncovered that our Vision 2030 Jamaica, the long-term development plan for the country, was strongly aligned to the SDGs that were established, the 17 goals of the Sustainable Development Goals framework. Over 90%, 91% alignment, which means that if we just implement Vision 2030, we'll be actually achieving implementation of the SDGs. And so that was very important for us to uncover as a country. And it is seen now as best practice by many countries globally, what Jamaica has been doing.
Much progress has been made to date, and Dr. Henry's contribution in this area has been recognized. He's among the recipients of the 2021 National Honors and Awards.
All right, Doctor, let's get straight to it. How do you feel about being selected to receive the Order of Distinction Commander rank?
So I feel very humbled. I feel very privileged and grateful to God. A number of persons in Jamaica have been serving, and a number of unsung heroes, persons who continue to give human service and to go beyond the call, and many are not recognized. And so I feel very privileged to have been so recognized. And I'm very big on teams, and so it's a team effort. And I think it's testament to the quality work of a strong team.
Mm-hmm. What was your reaction when you realized that you were selected to receive this award?
Just, I think, elation. Just again that sense of calm when you realize, we thank God. There's a verse in the Bible that says that all that we have accomplished, Lord, you have established for us. And all that we have accomplished, you've done for us, and that sense of gratitude to God, and so it's just that sort of sense that this is what happens if you allow God to lead you and trust Him to guide you.
Tell us, what was it like working on these projects?
Very rewarding, because the sense is as you stay up at night and you work on these matters, you know that it is having direct impact and direct benefit in many instances for persons' lives and their livelihoods.
Dr. Henry's career as an economist started in finance in the private sector. He later transitioned to the public sector, serving as an advisor to previous government ministers of agriculture and finance.
Someone said to me some time ago, if when someone is sharing a vision, if you feel it, if it impacts you as they share it, then chances are you're to be a part of it.
It could easily be said that Dr. Henry's unwavering service to the public sector was inherited from his parents, who were both dedicated public servants.
My father was at the Bureau of Standards for over 33 years at the Bureau of Standards, and my mother was at the Planning Institute of Jamaica and for almost 40 years, and you saw them and their giving to the country, and just grew up with that and understanding the value of giving back.
If it was not a public service, right, what would it be for them?
If it was not public service, likely academia. There's a lot of me that enjoys teaching.
What is it that you are passionate about outside of work?
A number of things. One is family. Family is very important, and I tell persons, make the time. Friendships are important. I think the sense of service is important, because I think the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And so I can get into my other issue now of being a preacher by weekend, right? That I'm active in the church, and that's important to me also, to help to encourage and to build persons up.
Yes, and I just want to thank you again for your contribution to Jamaica, to this country.
On behalf of the team, thank you very much. I really mean that. Thank you so much. We continue to and give the commitment of our continued diligence and dedication to the work of promoting sustainable development for the people of Jamaica. And we continue all our efforts to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. God bless you. Thank you.
Catch the 2021 National Honors and Awards ceremony on Heroes Day, Monday, October 18, right here on this station at 9 a.m. to see all the men and women who have helped to build our island home. It will also be streamed on the OPM, JIS, and JCDC websites. Many of our traditional folk forms are deeply influenced by our African heritage. Today we look at revivalism. As you learn the history, be prepared to learn some moves too.
There's no one way to truly play the beat of our Jamaican culture. No one way to unfold the depth of the various movements that are intricately intertwined with the drums, or whatever uniquely made instruments that accompany each other. And certainly, no one way to shake our hips, tap our feet, move our hands or dress to distinguish the truest form of our heritage in dance. But there are certainly several ways to tell the island's tale of musical artistry and infectious rhythms. Today, we tell the story of the African retention in one of our Jamaican traditional folk forms, revivalism.
There are over 10 traditional folk forms in Jamaica, and the majority of them are heavily influenced by our African heritage and retention. In today's feature, we zone in on revivalism. To witness the underlining beat of this treasure, we journeyed to the Eastern Parish of Portland to observe the Port Antonio Theatre Group as they showcase the intricacies of this art form. Revivalism is a religious ritual that was birthed in Jamaica between 1860 and 1861 as part of a religious movement called the Great Revival. It has two branches, the 60 Order or Revival Zion and the 61 Order or Pocomania.
Revivalism is the Christian side. They go up to 60 count, they have number count, they go up to 60 and they deal with the heavenly spirits. Unlike the Pocomania, they deal with earthly and heavenly spirits or angels.
The revivalism ritual requires a lot of singing, drumming, dancing, hand clapping, foot stomping, and groaning, along with the use of prayers to invite possession.
The format of the revival, you will have the solemn part, where it's nice and solemn. You hear first of all you hear the hymn, and somebody's tracking from the hymnal. When I say track, you have somebody call the words, and then the congregation sings.
Throughout the ritual, members arrange themselves in 5 formations: free formation, horseshoe or semicircle, circle, working in pairs and lines. One of the most common movements is the trumping or drilling step, whereby members move around in a circle anti-clockwise with bodies bent forward. The members stamp their right foot forward and their right shoulder is thrust forward. It is during this movement that excessive wheels and turns take place. Cymbaling can also be observed, and this is the chanting or reciting a set of words over and over. This is usually done by the leader. Groaning and laboring is also practiced, and this is the heavy exhalation of the breath, making a heavy groan or grunt as the air is forcibly pushed from the lungs. During a revival service, one cannot help but notice the flag bearer, who uses the flag to clear the pathway or the table that is decked with various elements.
The paraphernalia that is on the table for revival, you will find that they have candles, they will have grapefruit. The dominant thing, if you don't see anything else on the table, the dominant thing that is on the table is that vase, transparent vase with the croton. That is what we call Joseph coat of many colors. So you must find that in the vase with some water. If it's a Zion, you will find white candles. If it's Pokumne, you find other color candles.
The revival churches across the island organize themselves into what are known as bands, and these bands are led by a charismatic or influential leader.
If it's a male, you call him the shepherd that leads a flock. And if it's a female, you call him the mother, M-A-D-D-A. So you might find both at any one time, or you might find one or the other in some of the bands.
One of the major features of the bands is their distinctive, colorful attire. For each function, band members must adorn themselves in a specific dress code.
So for instance, if it's a baptism, you'll find they dress all in white. Generally, if they go into a convention, they dress in different bands. You'll find that different bands meet up at that convention and they dress differently. Some might be in bandana and white, some in multicolors, the colors of the rainbow, the colors of the primary colors, or the secondary colors mix, or one of each. So you might have them in plain and it's pleated. Some dresses are pleated, and it's, as I say, it's loose, not skin fit.
But without a doubt, the most recognizable piece of garment that distinguishes any revival band is their headdress that is wrapped, styled, and or embellished in a number of ways.
The headdress is very important for the revival because you have a nice wrap at the front, colorful, and they are very neat in their dressing. And for the footwear, it's crepe. Why the crepe? It's that they can travel from long distance, and in a nice flat crepe, you can travel without any problem. For the males and the shepherd, the middle of the head is not covered. It just goes around, the wrap goes around the head. Unlike the mother and the other female performers, they actually have to cover the head.
If you watch closely, you will observe that the robustness of the singing and dynamism of the band members could not be possible without a critical component that exists in every revival worship: the musical instruments.
The dominant instrument in revival is the rattle drum and the bass drum and the tambourine.
Because of these three instruments, the resounding beat of revivalism still echoes loud and clear among us on a daily basis and continues to be a priceless relic of our rich culture and heritage. Today, revivalism is practiced all across the island, but it can mostly be found in the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Elizabeth, and St. Anne. It is also currently performed as part of the annual JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts Competition. Wherever it is practiced, one will clearly see that revivalism is much more than a dance. It is much more than an aspect of religion. It is a multifaceted melting pot of our heritage. It is a Jamaican traditional folk form. The government of Jamaica and its partners invite you to participate in the 7th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in the Americas and the Caribbean virtual conference from November 1 to 4. Register online before October 20. Together, we are building resilient economies in the Americas and the Caribbean. Register, join the conversation, and let's take action for a cause.
Today is being observed as International Day of Rural Women. The United Nations statistics show that rural women make up about a quarter of the world's population, whether as farmers, wage earners, or entrepreneurs. Here are some facts about the day. The main aim of International Day of Rural Women is to celebrate and honor women and girls living in rural areas. It acknowledges the massive role that rural mothers, daughters, and grandmothers play in producing food and building agricultural and rural development sectors internationally. Today's observance is being celebrated under the theme, Rural Women and Girls Building Resilience. And you can join in by building awareness on social media by using the theme as a hashtag. While we move towards nation building and development, no group should be left behind. So, as we acknowledge the role of rural women in our country, let's help to make their lives and contribution much easier. That way we can all help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
This Sunday on Get the Facts.
The current card that you have in your possession,
yes,
come December 31st, is no longer a valid card. And therefore, most likely the commercial entities won't accept those cards, and the government entities won't. For persons who got a card prior to 2015, those individuals who have to come in and apply for renewal. So if you have not yet done so, you need to come to the office. There's no new card for you.
That's Get the Facts this Sunday. Join us to hear the plans the Electoral Office of Jamaica has for the safe distribution of the new and renewed voter ID cards.
After all that learning, we pause here but not for long as another magazine comes your way tomorrow. Thanks for staying with us. A refresher of yesterday's journey and others can be had through the JIS YouTube channel. Also visit the JIS's Facebook, Instagram and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Audrey Williams. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.